From the east to the west, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a PrimeWave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, and this is time for the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And it is Wednesday, and Wednesday the 7th to be exact. So that means we have 24 more days left in the month. So, and really 24 more days left in the year. So you guys make it count, like as they always say, make it count, So it is what it is at the end of the day. But let's start off with our first topic in hand. Aaron Judge resigns with the Yankees. What's next for MLB free agency? From what I can see here, you have Aaron Judge, who probably had the most, I would say, the most clever way to pretty much confirm to you that he was coming back to the Yankees, because pretty much he was at the Tampa Bay game with Nestor Cortez the other night, and literally those guys were still hanging out, chilling and everything. If you're on your way out of town, you're not going to be hanging out with one of your teammates. I'm sorry. You're just not going to do that. So they pretty much it was just theater. Everybody had this good idea that he was returning to the Yankees. You know what I mean? So it was like, it wasn't a big deal in reality that this happens, but I know a lot of people were pretty much getting pretty crazy about the way that things were getting announced yesterday and all that good stuff. Because you had John Heyman come out and put him on the Giants, and then they had to rebuttal that because the Giants came out and said we didn't get anything yet. And so pretty much I think that might have ruined some things for the Giants, but the Giants were never going to get him in the first place. And then the Padres, with their new elusive, we like to spend money attitude, came through and tried to, and rumored to offer him $400 million for 10 years and da. And I said to myself, that didn't happen either. You know what I mean? Because they can say all they want to, but at the end of the day, Aaron Judge's people had already told him that he was going back to the Yankees. They just had to work. They just had to hear what everybody else was offering, and then they went ahead and ponied up what they had to pony up. Everybody said 9 years, $360 million. The Yankees always had that deal, and that's what the negotiation was about. This was just theater because he wanted to make sure that the Yankees really wanted him. That's the whole thing, because the media was making it more of a situation than anything. It wasn't about Aaron Judge. It was about how the media wanted to just have a story, because baseball is a very formful, as we say formful, because that means that formful means to pretty much be something that's going to happen. Like we say, it's chalk if it's a bet. So, you knew the man was going back to the Yankees. Why would he not go back to the Yankees? He just had the greatest season in Yankees history. So why would he do that? He's the MVP for the guys in the pinstripes. Guys dream of being Yankees. I know that he wanted to play in his hometown of San Francisco and all that good stuff. Well, they said he wanted to play in his hometown, and he's from Merced. He's not from San Francisco. So, I love how they just do that. You know what I mean? It's the Bay Area, and they'll always put somebody in some city that they didn't grow up in. You know what I mean? Like, if I've heard him say he's from Oakland, but the guy is really from San Mateo. So it's like, no. So pretty much he went ahead, he's staying in the Bronx, and I would say that was the right choice. Now, where do we go with free agency after this? We still have big names out there, and I think that those big names are going to all start looking at his deal and trying to get something similar. I think Carlos Correa now is the big target for everybody. And with the Dodgers now without a shortstop, I think that maybe they could go ahead and make amends in this situation, because I know Carlos Correa does not have really any love for the Dodgers after what happened with the Astros situation. But it might not be the organization of the Dodgers. It might just be the people that were involved with taunting him while he was still in Houston. But he hasn't been in Houston in a year. And I think that Dodger fans can get over it, because the production that he will bring will be the guy that they need to put the Dodgers over the top as well, too. He has played in a few postseasons, even though he went to Minnesota. He still went to Minnesota to show that, to get his value. And the MLB did go into a little bit of not a strike, but there was a lockout. So him getting his deal wasn't the way that it's set up to be, because he was really set to go to the Yankees. So, I don't think the Yankees are getting them, but I think that the Dodgers are probably going to have a bidding war with the Giants to get Carlos Correa. And I think Xander Bogaerts is a guy that the Dodgers are looking at as well, too. Also, I would say that the Mets will probably be getting a look-see over there as well. And there's just really good players still left out there. I just can't wait to report who's leaving next. And pretty much we move on to the next subject in hand. And this one is kind of like, man, I get a little sad about this one, because we got to talk about my Dodgers real quick. And, man, it's just a sad sight right now with the Dodgers, because the Dodgers are losing a lot of key players from the past few years, the guys that have helped win these championships over the years and everything like that. So it's getting really like to the point to where it's like, man, I hope that they can salvage some things, because they just let go of Cody Bellinger, who was quickly picked up by the Cubs, and they re-signed Clayton Kershaw. That is a sign to show that Clayton Kershaw is still here. He's our captain. He's the ace of the staff still. It doesn't matter what people feel who the ace is. That's Clayton's pitching room right there. And pretty much he is the OG. And you just don't let Clayton Kershaw walk down the way knowing that he can still win games for you. I know that a lot of people felt like he wasn't playing up to par, but he went 12-3 last year, and he had a few back issues as well too. I think that the Dodgers did the right thing by bringing back Clayton Kershaw. I know a lot of people didn't like the move bringing back Clayton Kershaw, but it is what it is at the end of the day. He's a guy that's been one of the most consistent players on the Dodgers, regardless of how you feel and what you say. He's been one of the most consistent players, period, with this team, if not, franchise-wise. So that there you have it in that situation as well, too. And then you have Justin Turner, who they're still talking to, because Justin Turner, they just wanted to see if they could pay him a little bit less than they've been paying him. And I don't think that should be a problem, because Justin Turner really doesn't want to leave Southern California. I'll keep it honest with you. And I know that the Padres were thinking about flirting with him a little bit, but from what I'm hearing more about Tampa Bay trying to get a extra bat there. But I would say this, I would think that Justin Turner would be more of a part-time starter anywhere he goes next year, because he is dealing with a lot of nagging injuries and things like that, but he is one of the toughest players in baseball. So, he's another good dugout guy. And that's why I'm really like kind of, bummed about Bellinger, because he might not have been showing up with the bat like he did a few years back when he won the MVP, but he was a good chemistry guy. He was a part of the mix of what the Dodgers got going. And I think the Dodgers, they're making moves right now that are questionable, because now they're messing with the chemistry of the team. But the Dodgers have the best farm system in baseball. And it's crazy when you have the best farm system in baseball and you have the best record in baseball, you have the best of both worlds. So you don't really have to go chase free agents. You don't have to do all that. You can just go out and bring up a guy, and that guy can be the guy. And the Dodgers had so many guys sitting in Oklahoma City, Salt Lake City, wherever the minor leagues is at, because I got messed up because I thought one of the teams was still in Albuquerque. So they got some really good players that are going to be future all-stars as well too. They got a lot of potential to be the team that everybody envisions year in, year out, going to the World Series. The Dodgers have been spoiling LA for a bit now. You know what I mean? Because they've spent a whole decade going to the playoffs. Not even the beloved Lakers have done that. You know what I mean? So the Dodgers really do need to figure out a way, though. How do they get to the World Series, though? You can't keep having the best record in baseball, the best record in the National League, and you're not getting to the big show. So I think the Dodgers have a few things in mind, and I truly do think that they do have something really in the fold that's going to get everybody really excited moving forward. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes and see how it shakes out. But the Dodgers trying to make some moves, but they're losing guys left and right. But I know the Dodgers are trying to make sure they have enough money so when they make this big deal happen that they can make sure they have the number that this whoever they do pick up. And I think that Carlos Carrera is probably a top priority now since you've lost your shortstop and Trey Turner and you've lost your center fielder as well too. So I know they would be looking for an outfielder as well because they need to make up for the defensive end of it, not just the bat. And I know that they still have Thompson, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see exactly what this will come to. You know what I mean? So there it is. Blue Crew Daily. Dodgers lose Bellinger to the Cubs, just like they lost Jock Peterson to the Cubs a few years back. So, it kind of has the same remnants to it. So hopefully they don't have to play the Cubs or play anybody that might trade for Bellinger during the trade deadline. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and move forward to our next topic at hand. And that's going to be this one right here. This is going to be for the Illinois last night. They went ahead and had themselves a really good game last night and went ahead and got themselves a very good win last night against Texas, the number 2 team in the nation. That's their second win against the top 10 team as well too. Last night, though, Illinois had to show out and show that the Big Ten is really one of those is really to not to be messed with. That this is another monster upset for the conference. But Texas, it's crazy. You had 2 teams from the state of Texas, 1 and 2. Houston's the number 1 team in the nation, and then you have the boys from Austin. The Texas Longhorns is the number 2 team in the nation. This is the first time I think I've ever seen that in my life. So they had that going for them, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day for them to really be up to the task and everything like that to go ahead and get this win. But the game did end in overtime as well too. So, it was a good game. It was a great game at the Garden, and it played up to its title. It played up to its billing. So that was huge in a sense, but I still think that, we're still so early in the season, and I think that everybody needs to really understand that it takes a long time to figure out who really are the best teams in the nation. But Texas and Illinois have proven to me that they're possible Sweet 16 teams and possible Elite 8 teams. I can't put them in the Final Four yet because I don't see any Final Four teams yet. I think that it's going to be one of those Final Fours where it's really going to be unpredictable who gets there. But I think that we do have a good idea who gets to the Sweet 16, who can get to the Elite 8 this year. And I think that it's going to wind up not being a tournament where you have a lot of upsets, but you have a lot of different scenarios that are in place. You know what I mean? So I think that we're on to something here with the NCAA. They're playing great basketball in the NCAA as well too this year. I think that they're playing at a level I've never seen them at because literally it used to be where guys were barely doing dunks. Now they're doing dunks that you do in the dunk contest in the NBA. Like it wasn't they were barely doing dunks, but a guy would sky through with a one hand, it would seem like something crazy. You know what I mean? Because it just always seems like college it's just controlled chaos. You know what I mean? A lot of times in college basketball. So you might have some sloppiness to the game, but in the game today, nah, you don't see that. You see guys who are just really good at the game of basketball, and that's beautiful to watch. as well too. You know what I mean? And guys aren't taking off plays and everything. That's why I prefer to watch college basketball over the NBA. I know a lot of people were like, but I just truly do feel like you can sit up there and watch college basketball all day and really be like, this is how the game of basketball is supposed to be played. And then you look at the NBA and you say, man, these guys are being kind of lazy tonight. So, they have that, but big game last night, especially for Terrence Shannon Jr. Terrence Shannon Jr. dropped 12 points in overtime last night, and he did hit the go-ahead three-pointer with about three and a half minutes left to go in the game. And they just went ahead and got probably their biggest win of the season right now at the Garden last night. So they showed what it takes to win these type of games. And I think that Illinois and Texas are on their way to, some big things moving forward. And I think this is going to be a really good season for both of these teams, regardless of the outcome of this game. And hopefully they meet again, because this was a really good game and this is a really good matchup. So we'll see if they do meet again. And, there it is. There it is. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our CBB game of the day. And that's going to be this. This is going to be the game that's going to be between the UConn Huskies and the Florida Gators. This game is going to be in Gainesville tonight as well, too. This is going to be number 5 UConn. That, this team is looking to go ahead and stay undefeated right now. They're 9-0. And then you have Florida, who's 6-3. So, Florida's coming in here as a plus 4.5 dog at home. So that's kind of a danger zone type of situation for UConn. But I still think, though, at the end of the day, UConn should be able to come out as the victor in this game, because Florida is a rebuilding situation. And UConn has finally got all the players that they've been coveting. And like I said before, when UConn went back to Nike, UConn became relevant again. And I hate to say that a team had to go back to a shoe company to become relevant again, but that's exactly what happened. And, Hurley is just doing a great job as their head coach as well, too. Hurley doesn't get enough credit for the job that he does with this team. And I think that, the Big East is now wide open because you don't have the fighting Jay Wrights there anymore, because Jay Wright has retired. So Villanova is normal again. As you can see, Villanova has had some really, really shitty showings. I hate to cuss on my show, but, they really have not played up to the standard of what Villanova's been over the last few years. So you have Connecticut here, who's ready to pounce and take back their rightful place as the landlords of the Big East. We all remember that they used to really run this conference before it broke up to the ACC and they had to go to the AAC and all that stuff. So, you got Connecticut here, 9-0 coming into this one. Florida 6-3. I'm looking at the numbers now. And you have Connecticut, who's led by Sanago, who's getting 18.7 a game. He just had 20 against Oklahoma State on 50% shooting. Had a great game against Alabama as well, too, in that win, scored 25 points. So this guy's been playing some really, really good basketball. Regardless, 6'9", big as well too. So it works out, and he's a Mali man, so that should be good. And he's leading this team in rebounds. And then Andre Jackson's having himself a pretty good year as well too, leading this team out as the point guard. And he had a pretty great game against Iowa State, where he had 13 rebounds and 10 points. So he's coming, and he's entering his junior season as well, too. So this is a lot of fun right now. He's from Amsterdam, New York. So, 6'6" guard that is just killing it as well, too. So there's a lot of good things to look forward to if you are the Connecticut Huskies. But this is going to be a good defensive game tonight as well, too, because Florida is ninth in block shots on the year. Castleton is their best player, lead rebounder and lead scorer as well too. And then you have Lofton, pretty good point guard, Kyle Lofton. He had a really good game against West Virginia last time out, scored 17 in that game. But you come back around and try to get it going. He is a fifth-year senior. He spent his first 4 years at St. Bonnie. So this one should be a really, really good game. And I just really, truly do feel like UConn is killing it right now. Even though you have a Florida team that's won their last 2 in a row, it was against Florida A&M and Stetson. Last time they played against P5, they lost by 29, and that was to West Virginia. West Virginia is not better than Connecticut. So I truly do think that this does wind up being a game where Connecticut's going to have to play somewhat in the first half, but they run away with this one in the second half. So there it is, and that's it for the opening segments, and that's our college basketball game of the day. And I do have UConn covering that 4.5 point spread. All right, so there it is. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When I get back, we're going to go ahead and jump into the state of the Lakers, and then we're going to get into the NBA Wednesday night. And then after that, we got Talkin Tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Captain.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a PrimeWave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the PrimeWave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we're back with the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper. So let's go ahead and jump into state of the Lakers. And the Lakers last night got beat again by the Cavs. And, no surprise there because AD only lasted a few minutes in that game. He had flu-like symptoms as soon as he touched the ball. He was pretty much caught a foul, and then he was headed to the back. So it was all on LeBron last night, and LeBron did not have one of his better games against the Cavs like he always does. He was averaging 42 points in the 2 times that he came over there with the Lakers, but it just wasn't enough. He had 21 last night with 17 rebounds, though. LeBron had 17 rebounds last night. I don't know if that's a career high for LeBron, but that's a lot of rebounds. I've never seen him get that many rebounds in a game, but wow, 17. But I think he's done this before. So he had 17 rebounds, 4 assists last night. Then Dennis Schroeder was the second leading scorer. Well, actually, Tommy Bryant had 19 last night, and they took him out at a point in the game where he should have been in the game. He had 9 rebounds, though, as well, too. And then Westbrook and Schroeder both had 16. And then Lonnie Walker did not have the same type of Lonnie Walker night that he usually has. He was 3 for 10 last night, couldn't hit any threes, wound up only scoring 7 last night. So, AD came in there, played 8 quick minutes, and then he had 1 point, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Now, I'm just going to talk about this real quick. I saw that a lot of bettors were mad about the prop plays and things like that. And then I saw sports books actually giving back money for the game, or actually not giving back money, but, just voiding out the bet, just refunding your money and everything like that. You sports books are really nice now. You truly are, because we all know the rules. Once you put your money on the board and that person makes it to the game and they play some minutes in that game, you're really not supposed to go ahead and start refunding things. But I know they did this because they did not want to get a bunch of backlash. And, everybody's feeling like they're getting ripped off and the game is rigged and all this other stuff. Well, guys, can get sick, guys can get hurt, and I just really it just makes me laugh how much people are scared to lose their money. Yeah, I said it. You guys are just scared to lose your money. That's all it is. You know what I mean? And pretty much, if you don't know that you're gonna lose some money, because you got to already go in with the idea that you lost your money as soon as you put it on the board. You know, as soon as you put it on the wood, that there's a chance that I'm gonna lose this money, but I'm confident enough to where I'm gonna win some money, right? So you can't play that game, that victim game, when something that's out of your control happens. You know what I mean? You can't keep saying it's rigged because some situation went your way. No, they're not going to go out of business if everybody wins a bet, okay? Because they have other bets that lost today that everybody lost on. So at the end of the day, all they're doing is holding your money. That's it, and that's all, and paying you out. But I do understand that there are some rules with books that are just really criminal as well, too. But that's just sports betting in general. You know what I mean? And so you got to know what you signed up for. So you guys got to stop going on the internet whining about this stuff and just going ahead. And if you get a refund, you get a refund. If you don't, then you'll be okay. You're $5. You got $5 for your bet tomorrow. Because the people that are complaining aren't putting up anything but maybe $20. That's it. So, you know, it is what it is. It's a tough game. That's why I tell people it's an up and down situation. You guys got to stop putting this thing into, you know, putting so much on it. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I know people say, man, but you're doing a show about it. I've been doing a show about it for 6 years. So, you know, and I still, it will always tell you, stop trying to have a conspiracy theory here. You know, people are not calling to Vegas saying that Vegas is not calling in the locker room saying that we need you to lose tonight. It just doesn't happen like that. It's sports. It's sports. Sports has always been like this, but you know, it is what it is. It's a kid's game, and you guys just, you know, act like children about it sometimes when you don't get your way. It's understandable. So all in all, when you look at it, the Lakers, though, let me get back to them. When you look at the stats from last night, the Lakers just really, the Lakers, oh God, the Lakers really went ahead and did what they had to do, and it just didn't work out. The Lakers were 6 for 36 from three. But they were really good from the free throw line again. That was good. And then they did do pretty good on the offensive boards as well, but it just wasn't enough to win the game. They wind up losing the game by 14 last night. And the key reason why they lost was because they had 16 turnovers to the Cavs 7. And the Cavs took full advantage of all those turnovers last night as well, too. So that's just how the game goes sometimes, man. It's just that's how it goes. And you know, at the end of the day, everything will be okay. And the Lakers are still in good shape, in my opinion. Yeah, they're 10 and 13, but that's much better than 2 and 10. Let's keep it real. But they do have Toronto tonight. LeBron is out, AD is out, and from what they're saying, Pat Beverly is going to be out, and Gabriel was already out as is. So the Lakers have four down tonight. Westbrook will probably be seen as the lead man tonight, and then you got Lonnie Walker there as well too. So that should be something, and I think that, you know, Tommy Bryant can step it up a little bit tonight. But this is going to be a tough ask for the Lakers, but they could possibly, if they're up to it, they could possibly go ahead and shake up some things. But them being a big dog tonight totally makes sense, and you chasing them as a big dog doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? I think it's a good sit and watch game for any bettors. Only thing you want to do with this one is probably play the over under in this spot, and I would suggest to play the over, because usually when the Lakers don't have their guys, they'll figure out ways to score, but they figure out ways not to play good defense too. So I can see that coming in this game. So it is what it is, and that's the state of the Lakers for today. All right, so we move forward, and let's go ahead and jump into the NBA Wednesday night. NBA Wednesday night presents a lot of games on the slate, but you know, I only got 5 for you to cut. I only cover 5 of them because we got the super high five, and you know how we do it with the super high five. We got 11 games in the association today, and let me go ahead and get into the first one I have here for you. It's going to be the Nets and the Hornets, and this one is going to be a fun one tonight. You have a Hornets team that's kind of going through the motions right now, and you got a Nets team that was just like the Lakers. A lot of people were like, well, they're terrible. And then they started going on. They had a nice little win streak. Now they're sitting pretty. And they're not sitting too pretty, but they're in better position than they were, say, back in early October. So they're back around. They're 13 and 12 right now. Going against this Charlotte team that's 7 and 17. You have a Charlotte team that's lost 6 out of 10, and then you have Brooklyn who's won 7 out of 10. So when I look into my notes, and I have a lot, and I got a good amount of. I got my notes today. You have a Hornets team that's 1 and 2 in the month of December. Then you have a team that's 2 and 1 against the spread in the month of November as well too. And then also with the Hornets, you have this team being 3 and 9 straight up on the road, 4 and 15 straight up as an underdog, and then 11, 12 and 1 against the spread on the road against the spread. They're 6, 5 and 1, and then as an underdog against the spread, they're 8, 10 and 1. Now over under, they're split at 12, and then when it comes down to the over unders on the road, they've went over in 8 out of their 12 games that they played on the road, and they've went under in they went over in 11 out of their 19 games as an underdog. So the Hornets coming into this spot, a team that has been good at the cover, but not good at the win. So that's just it's like that, and that's the way it is. You know what I mean? So you have the Nets who come into this one, and they are playing really great basketball. You got KD is literally just a half a point under 30 points a night, and I know a lot of people, that makes a lot of people mad because, they always want to see KD not do, everybody always wants to have, their criticism about KD still crying over him leaving for the Warriors. You know what I mean? I'm like, y'all got to get over that. You know what I mean? On me. Like, seriously, that is so, like, that's just loser mentality in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want, like, why don't you want to win? Like, seriously, why don't you want to win? And that's what they sign up for. They sign up to be winners, bro. They don't sign up to be just somebody that's in the NBA. You know what I mean? So that's where a lot of people get it twisted at. But when I look at the notes for the Hornets, you got a team that's 1 and 1 this month, and then they're 8 and 5 straight up at home. They're 10 and 6. They've been a favorite 16 times this year. They're 10 and 6 in that spot straight up. And then against the spread, they're 11, 13 and 1. Now, as a favorite against the spread, they're 7, 8 and 1. And as a home favorite, they're 5, 5 and 1. Now, against the spread at home, they're 5 and 7. And when I look at their over under, they've went under in 16 of the 25 games they played in. And then in the 13 home games that they've went under 9 of those. And then as a favorite, they've been a favorite 16 times. So they've went under in 10 of those 16 games. So tonight, this game, I know it's going to be funny, but I'm going to go total opposite on scoreboard tonight. I feel like we get the over tonight because the Hornets have been giving up a lot of points, and this is ripe for the situation for the Nets to have themselves a good night. I think the Nets get like 220, 225 on the board tonight, possibly 230 in this game in total. So I like the number, and I think we hit the number. So there it is. Hornets at the Nets. This should be a good game tonight, for bettors, in my opinion, because there's so much you can do with this. You can play props in this game, all that good stuff. And if you want to really see who pick a side, I think that the Hornets could be a good cover for you tonight because a lot of people are going to bank on the Nets blowing them out tonight. I don't think that the Nets blow them out, but I think the Nets do beat them. All right, so we got the Wizards 11-13, and then you got the Bulls 9-4. Bulls coming in as a 5.5-point favorite, over under 226.5. When I look at my notes, you have a Wizards team that's winless this month, but they've only played 2 games, so they're 0-2 for the month of December. And then when it comes down to their road situation, they're 3-8 straight up on the road, and then they're 4-5-2 against the spread on the road, and then they've went over in 8 out of the 12, and they've went over in 6 out of the 11 games that they've had on the road this year. And then when you look at them as an underdog, they're 4-8 straight up as an underdog, and then they're 5-5-2 against the spread as an underdog, and then they've actually went under. I mean, they went over in 12 of the games that they've been an underdog this year. So that's 8 games to be exact. All right. And then you also have them as a road underdog. They're 2-7 straight up. And then against the spread on the road, they're 4-5-2. And then over and under, they played 24 games. They've went over in 13 of those games. And then as the underdog, like I said before, they've went over in 8 of those 12 games as an underdog. And then on the road, as I said before, they've went over in 6 of those games, and it's been 11 on the road for them this year. Then you got the Bulls, who are winless this month as well too. They're 0-2 as well. They're 5-5 against the spread and straight up at home. They're also 3-3 against the spread and straight up as a fave. But this is a good stat for the Bulls. They're 3-1 straight up as a home favorite. And then against the spread this year, they're 10-12-1. And they've went under in 14 out of their 23 games this year. And then at home, they've actually went under in 8 out of 10 games. And then as a favorite, they've went under out of 4 out of 6. So this game, to me, the Bulls should really, really come into this one and take advantage of a Wizards team that's kind of going through the motions. Bradley Beal is set not to play tonight. So I do like the way that this one is setting up. He might sneak in there, but he's having some hamstring issues. So I like the Bulls tonight to win this one by 6 or better, and that's what the spread is calling for. So that's why I went ahead and I put the Bulls down on the list tonight for that one. So we have that working out in our accord, and then we have really good. We got some really good stuff going on here tonight with the next game coming up. The next game is going to be the Bucks and the Kings. I think that this is the best East-West game tonight because you have a Kings team that's playing much better basketball than they have in like a long time. So let's go ahead and jump into that one. And we have the Kings and the Bucks, and don't worry about it. The Kings are the road team. The Bucks are the home team. You have a Kings team 13-9. You have the Bucks who are 17-6 coming in. You have a 6.5-point spread to the Bucks and an over/under 236.5. Now, when I look at the notes that I have, you have this Kings team balling out right now, 2-0 in the month of December, and then they're 5-5 straight up on the road. They're 4-8 straight up as an underdog, though. And then as a road dog, they are 1-5 straight up. Now, against the spread, they're 15-7, 7-3 against the spread on the road. And then they are 8-4 against the spread as an underdog. So they have that working out for them against the spread. So they're really good against the spread. And they're probably the best team in the NBA against the spread as well, too. I think they are number 1 against the spread as well, too, in the league. And then you have they're 10-11-1 when they've went under in 11 of their 22 games this year as well, too. And then on the road, they've went under in 7 out of 10. And then as an underdog, they've went under 7 out of 12 times as well, too. So this team is different on the road and different as an underdog, but they're still playing above expectations this season. But I don't think they're playing above expectations. Once I saw how good Keegan was, I was like, okay, Sacramento is finally back. They got themselves a 6'7", 6'8" swing man who can do everything. Oh, yeah, they're going to be good. And they haven't talked about him much, but that guy is going to be special moving forward. And you know what? Just let's keep it real. I love Lonzo Ball, but they did. But the kid, though, he's Spider, man. I mean, the boy is so good. You know what I mean? And it's funny that Magic, he brought up the fact that he wanted him, De'Aaron Fox. So it's funny that he said, I prefer De'Aaron Fox, but the city of nah, man, if you felt De'Aaron Fox was better, then you should have just shook some shit up and got him. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. You can't cry over spilled milk. Then you have the Bucks here, 2-1 in the month of December. They're 11-3 straight up at home. They're 16-5 straight up as a favorite. Also, they're 13-9-1 against the spread. At home, they're 9-5 against the spread. And as a favorite, they're 12-8-1 as against the spread. Now, when it comes down to the over and under, they've went under in 12 out of their 23 games. And then at home, they went over in 9 of their 14 games. And when it comes down to them as a favorite, they've went over in 11 out of their 21 games as a favorite. So this team playing really good basketball at the moment, and the Kings are playing really good basketball at the moment. I think what happens here is since the Kings they don't score like they do at home, like they do on the road. The way that the Bucks play defense, they know that they need to keep them off the boards, and they can't let them get second chance opportunities. I really do think the Bucks will be able to corral this one in, and the Kings are going to have to really play basketball tonight. It won't be a run and gun up and down the floor type game. I think that the 236.5 is a high number, and I think that we can go ahead and get the under here. So that's why I'm saying I do like the under in this spot. So we move forward. Let's go ahead and jump into the Jazz and the Warriors. And the Jazz, and let me tell you something. Everybody, don't think that you're getting some type of love here because they are a 7-point favorite. I'm putting it in here now. So they are a 7-point favorite tonight, the Jazz. And I know that's kind of rare because this is the world champions. This is the Warriors. This is the shooting squad. This is the guys that, are the darlings of the league somewhat. But tonight, they are in this position because they are by far the worst team in the NBA when it comes to road games right now. I say this with all nothing but facts. They're 2-1 for the month of December, coming off of a loss against Indiana on Monday. Now I'm looking at my numbers. You got 2-10 against the spread and straight up on the road, and then straight up as an underdog on the road, they're 0-5. And then against the spread, they're 11-14. And as a road underdog, they're 1-4 against the spread. Okay. Against the spread, dog. Against the spread as a road underdog. And then you have the 13-11. Then they've went over in 13 out of their 25 games on the season. And then they've went over in 12 of their road games 7 times. And then they've went under in 3 out of those 5 games as the underdog. So this Warriors team is not good as a dog this year. So you would want to run to the value and get the plus 220 tonight, plus 230 tonight. But the Warriors are really not good for that. But I think that they can be a good insurance play tonight, to be honest with you. A good insurance play tonight. I think that 7.5 is a bit too much for a Jazz team that has not played the same type of basketball that they did to start the season off. They're 1-1 in the month of December. They're 8-4 straight up at home. So they are pretty good at the house. And as a favorite, they are 4-6 though as a fave. So they haven't been a good favorite this season. They've been a better dog than a favorite. And then you have this team being 4-4 straight up as the home favorite. And then when it comes down to the spread, they're 15-11. And then when it goes to spread at home, they're 7-5. But against the spread as the favorite, they're 3-7. And so you look at them as a home fave, they're 3-5. Now, when you look at the over/under, they played 26 games. They went over in 14 of them. And when they're at home, everything's pretty even. So they're sick. They've went over. They have had 12 games, 6 overs, 6 unders, and then they've had 10 games as the favorite. So they have went even in that category as well too, 5-5. So when I look at this one, I like the Warriors to cover the game tonight. Now, if you want to be a little froggy and jump into getting yourself some value tonight, they do present probably the best value of the night because they're the Warriors. But, Steph is a game time decision. I think Steph is out. So that's why they're 7.5. And I think that possibly Jordan Poole or Klay Thompson might be out as well too. So that's what they're putting into play. But the Warriors are a championship team, so you can't go to sleep on them. They have the players to help them in this game, but they've lost Wiggins for some time now as well too. Actually, it looks like everybody's going to be a go, but I think that Steph's a game time decision because they didn't know if he was going to play Monday. So I think all in all, you have your second leading scorer out, so they're gonna need somebody to step it up. So we'll see how it goes, see how it shakes out. But I do like the Warriors tonight with the plus 7.5. All right, so we move on to the game of the night, and that's going to be the Celtics and the Suns. And this one is going to be a really, really good game. I don't want to jump the gun and say this is a possible finals preview, but the Suns are the number one team in the West right now, and the Celtics are the number one team in the East. Now, you do have a close spread here. It's literally a pick 'em, but Boston is a 1.5 favorite. It's a 230.5 over under here as well, too. So I'm looking at my numbers, and the Celtics are just ice cold, baby. When you think about it, 2-1 in the month of December, they're 9-3 straight up on the road. They're 19-5 straight up as a fave. They're 8-3 as straight up as a road favorite. Now against the spread, they're 16-9, 7-5 against the spread on the road, 15-9 against the spread as a fave, 6-5 against the spread as a road fave. Now, when it comes to the over/under, they played 25 games. They went over in 14 of them. Now, on the road, different story. They've actually have had 12 road games, and they've went under in 8 of them. So tell the two stories right there. So a lot of their overs are coming in Boston this year. And as a favorite, though, this year, they've went over 14 times as the favorite this year. In the 25 games, they've been a favorite. So it's just absolutely incredible what Boston's doing right now, in all senses of the word. So, they're just playing just wowzer basketball, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So it is what it is at the end of the day. But that's what it's looking like. And I don't know how did they do that? Okay, they're 14-9-2 as a fave though, over and under. So, that's what I'm seeing. So pretty much, and I should be 14-8-2, to be honest, but we'll just leave it at that. We have the 1-2 in December for the Suns, though. Suns aren't having a good month this month. Not yet, though. You know what I mean? Chris Paul's still out with the heel as well, too. And then you have 12-2 straight up at home. And then you're 2-2 straight up as an underdog as well, too. And then when it comes down to being a home dog this year, they're 1-0. They got that win against the Warriors. And then against the spread, they're 14-10 at home. They're 9-5. And then as an underdog, they're 3-1 against the spread. Then they are also a 11. They went under in 12 out of their 24 games this year. And then they've went under in 8 out of the 14 games at home this year. And then they are actually have went over as the dog 4 times. So, and they've been a dog only 4 times this year, and they've went over every single time as the dog, even though they have an even record at 2-2. But they are really good against the spread as well, too. So tonight, I like the Suns in this national matchup. This is a national TV game, and national TV games usually wind up being a game that favor the home team, and especially when it's pick 'em like this, because that's what I like to call 1-point spreads, pick 'ems, pretty much. They don't want to say it's a pick 'em, but it's a pick 'em. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and take the slight money line on the Suns tonight. They were sitting at plus 105 right now. The number may go up because I know a lot of people are going to be, well, they don't have Chris Paul, they don't have Cam Johnson, blah, 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 blah. But I think this Phoenix team still does show up tonight, and they figure out a way to win a very close game. So I do like the way that this one sets up. And pretty much with that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. When I get back, we're going to go ahead and get into talking tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the PrimeTime Angles Live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Cap.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. Let's go ahead and jump into it. This is going to be talking tickets, your favorite subject, my favorite subject. So, let's jump into it. As you can see up first, we got the CBB PrimeTime PK6, and we do have ourselves very, very good, a very, very good situation here. And I do like the fact that we have ourselves a very good group here. So DePaul is over here kicking off some Big East play today, and they're going to be playing against St. John's. It seems like they always draw St. John's for the initial game in Queens at the Cornetica Center. You know what I mean? So it's inevitable that they're going to meet up. But this year, St. John's is killing it. St. John's is really – I like St. John's this year. St. John's got a lot of potential to shake up some things in the Big East this year. Then you got Boston U tonight with the plus 14.5. They're playing in a pretty game that it looks like if they don't start fast, they could get beat and the cover won't be there. But I think the cover will be there. Boston U always figures out a way to kind of take the air out the ball a little bit, move the ball around the right way. Don't be too careless tonight, and I think they wind up losing by 10 or less. And then you got Rhode Island and Brown in the Battle of Rhode Island tonight, and I like the home team in this spot tonight. I think that they win this game by 6 or better. And then you have Hampton tonight that's playing in pretty much a toss-up game in their spot tonight against Loyola, Maryland. I like Hampton in that spot to go ahead and get a win. Then you have Ryder playing tonight, and I like Ryder in their spot as well too with the minus 170. Should be some good money there for us as well. And then you have Virginia Tech, who's in a game that's kind of a game that they're giving them a good look in, but they're saying that it's a possibility that there could be an upset. There could be something to where it could be not in their favor, but I think that all in all, I think that they got this one handled. Dayton's a tough game, but Virginia Tech is really good at home, and they just beat North Carolina as well too. So I'm taking that one to the bank. I think that this should be good money. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and I think that they get themselves a nice win tonight. But it is a tough spot because Dayton's no slouch. All right, we got the dog day pick 4. I'm going to go with Evansville, the home team here, plus 120. We got Eastern Michigan on the road with the plus 190. Then we got Indiana State in a conference game tonight against Southern Illinois. I like them with the plus 160. And then we finish up with Loyola Marymount with the plus 170. I like Loyola Marymount this year. They absolutely cooked Georgetown over in the tournament over there in Jamaica. So they got some potential to be a good team in the West Coast Conference. I know that they got to deal with Gonzaga and all that good stuff, but they can shake some things up. They'll be a good betting team. Sometimes we're not worried about teams that make the tournament and all that good stuff. they're still going to win a good amount of games. So we want to be on the right side of the value plays a lot of times. So that's why I'm throwing these 4 games out. These are under the radar conferences. So I think that these can work out very well for us. And 44-1, that's a great ticket right there. But these 4 got a big shot tonight, in my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And we move from there. And then we have the NBA 26-1, super high 5, over 222 tonight for the Hornets and the Nets in Brooklyn, baby. And then we got the Wizards and the Bulls. I got the Bulls with the -5 tonight. That's probably going to drop down to about a 4 by the time we get the tip. And then we have the under 236.5 with the Kings and the Bucks. Then I'm throwing the Warriors in here at +7.5. And I'm kind of dreading it right now too, because every time I back the Warriors figure out a way to mess the money up. But hopefully tonight they go and get us a nice cover with the +7.5. That's why I'm not taking them on the money line. But I'm going to go ahead and take the home team in the national game of the night, and that's going to be against the Celtics. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Suns tonight with the +105. I know it's some risky business because the Celtics have been absolutely chewing through teams. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. But there it is. There it is. That's going to be pretty much a wrap on the Talkin Tickets for today. I want to go ahead and thank everybody for tuning in today who tuned in. Also, want to go ahead and give a big shout out to my man Mike Dixon as well too. They got some big things going on over at Vegas Sports Daily, so you guys go ahead and check them out as well too. Tomorrow we're gonna have the NFL Bet Exchange. Yes, we're still having an NFL Bet Exchange this week. Jeff was just a little bit busy yesterday, so we decided to do the show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific time to noon Eastern time. So you guys make sure to tune in for that, and we'll have some good analysts for you as well too. Then right at noon, once again, you will have the PrimeTime Angles. I'll be breaking down pretty much the day in sports for Thursday. And then you also have later on in the day, you have me on the Mike Abadir show for Voice America. So you guys be ready for that at 4. So that is going to be a full day of doing shows. And so you guys be ready for all of that. But I want to thank you guys very much once again for tuning in. And as I always say, bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And pretty much, man, as I always say, man, just get the money, baby. Cash them tickets, So it is what it is. And this is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, live with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Kappa. And I'll be back at you tomorrow. You guys have a beautiful day, and you guys are the absolute best. There is no me without you, and it's always love. Love you, Pops. I'm gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a PrimeWave Media production.